Hello, everyone.
Morning, everyone.
Do you like my shirt?
I really do. The colour's gorgeous.
Quite a time delay in here. Hello. Hazel Malbon, Jenny Matthews, Ellery Jones, Fiona Reid, Jenny Scam, E. Claff, Laura Byrne, Jenny Matthews, already said that. Love from Justine, Lynn Sheard, Sarah Bowes. Come on, get them going, Come on.
Josh Wilkinson, Sarah Micallef,
Micallef.
Michelle Winter, JP Vintage Candles, Flower Girl, Ellen, Paige, Elizabeth, Jenny Scam, Jenny Matthews, Jackie Valino, Stacey Randall, Anastasia Alexander, Kelly. Don't you think it's weird how some days I can see better without my glasses than other days? I mean, either you need them or you don't.
Puts me in mind of, I can see clearly now.
The rain has gone. I think it's when I lift my head, because my contact lenses do actually are varifocal. But I think sometimes when I just tilt my head to just the right pitch, I can see.
Is that why you look at me like that? It's really odd.
Sometimes
Sometimes
I
you
go
go
like that. I'm trying to read it.
You sort of, whenever I walk into a room, you go,
God, I need this coffee so badly, guys. I cannot
get going on
shake.
it. Well, you've had it.
I might have to have another one.
Go and make another one.
I can't shake the tiredness this morning. It's a big day yesterday, though. I think taking my dad to the hospital, though, it's lovely to spend time with him. It is quite... It's just emoting, isn't it? When your parents start needing hospital visits and stuff, it's quite emotionally...
Yeah, it is. I know. Well, because it
Yeah.
forces you to think about so many things.
Yeah, I just keep thinking of, when they were looking for his vein and they can't find his vein and all those things, it just makes you realise how... Because he's so young in so many ways, my dad, but he's still 88. You can't change biology, can you?
No, absolutely not. I've got a bit of a cold. If I suddenly have a coughing fit, apologies. It's my fourth cough/cold in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Fourth. And the reason I know it's 4 is the nature of each cough is completely different.
And he doesn't take vitamin D or vitamin C like me and Kiki do. Maddie and Mark are... No, this has been a really good study.
Yeah, okay.
Maddie and Mark are
Controlled
constantly
experiment.
getting ill, and me and Kiki aren't, and it's because his immune system is rubbish. Elsa Pop, Nadia, did you see the boss of Timpson's has told all his employees going through the menopause they can claim back HRT prescription charges through the company?
Chin chin.
Really? Wow, what are Timpson's? Is that a big company?
Don't know.
Oh my God, I'll have to look into that. Thank you, Elsa Pop. Mark, could you write down Timpson's?
Yeah, I'm going to use a paintbrush today.
Okay. Timpson's.
Timpson's.
So, yeah, I want to look that up. That's a really interesting story.
Christos, it's your birthday. I'm seeing it. Christos.
Yes, Ellen, we do have
Happy
to wait for the
birthday.
results. So basically, had a CT scan yesterday to see whether they will be able to go up into his veins.
Natasha
Would
got
it be his veins that they would do their whole operation?
I always find it really curious that they
So
go...
he needs a clear vein.
And your dad said this last night. He said, why do they go from the most distant part of your heart to get to it?
It's weird, isn't it?
Why go
It is
through your
weird.
toe
Must be the
to
way.
get to your heart rather than your chest?
Alfie Luca, I'm sorry to hear Granddad's gone to hospital. Sending you big love. It's so scary, isn't it, when our loved ones get old and awful.
How are you all, guys? I wasn't here yesterday. I was in Maidstone. How is everyone? Until I got here, obviously. I saw you briefly. How was your menopause chat? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. You know me, I'm always banging the drum.
Did you get-
I repeat myself quite a bit, but it's because people need to know
Please use
what
that.
their rights are.
Did you get hot and bothered? Did you have a hot flush? Do you have hot flushes
No.
anymore?
No, my hot flushes were cured with homeopathy, actually.
Wow. You'll be pleased to know, guys, that Tim the Postie arrived just shortly before this.
No, he arrived just as I was going into my namaste with my yoga.
Okay, well,
So
that was
I was
shortly
doing my
before
arm
this.
and you were going...
No.
You were going,
I opened
yeah,
the door.
I'm doing this 16-8, yeah.
But the reason I said that was we opened the door and he quite literally did this. He went like this. What's going on, Mark? And I said 16-8, intermittent fasting, getting rid of the love handles, getting rid of those little, zapping those bits. He said, I didn't think you had anything else to zap.
Oh, I know, I heard all of it. I was doing my yoga.
No, you were going.
I was doing my savasana.
They went through my groin to get to my
brain.
brain, Claire.
Really?
Can I seriously
Claire,
ask?
why? Claire,
Yeah.
that's amazing. You've had an operation on your
Claire,
brain.
can I seriously ask anyone here who's in vaguely surgical, why so far from the said? Surely you've got more controllability if you go in. Do you know what I mean?
Selena Wong, I'm a bit scared after only getting 2 hours sleep and been awake since 2 a.m. as well as just getting in from a 9 a.m. seminar. I so know what you mean when you say that. I get scared when I'm tired. Our youngest is fantastic because she's like that. She like gets scared, so she always turns her phone off when she goes to bed because she gets scared of being tired. I want this one to get scared of being tired because if you struggle with your mental health, right, first things first, look at your sleep. How can you improve your sleep? Selena Wong, what I would say to you is you're very, very tired. Have a big glass of water, have a coffee, and then go to sleep for 20 minutes. And when you wake up, you'll feel really refreshed.
Very odd, isn't it?
And by that time, the caffeine works. This is what they advise for people that have got long drives that are tired, is to stop off and have water, coffee, and a kip.
Craig Gillespie, we will. Angie Knowles, because it's the main artery and easier to get to through your groin. Maybe it's a bigger.
Angie.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so presumably the artery is easier to get whatever it is they're getting up the old thingamajig. I guess so.
Oh, Tracy Bennett, her first time here on the YouTube channel. Welcome, welcome. And yes, we are doing the 16-8. We are feeling fantastic. Yes, we've lost weight, but that's a side effect. Feel more energized. We're much more, what's the word? Not energized, what's the word? Not creative. Industrious in the morning.
Oh, there we go.
That wasn't even the word.
Oh, was it not?
That's just a different
Sorry,
one.
I wasn't really listening.
And so mental focus, clarity, you wouldn't believe it to listen to me, is all so much better. So check out, there's 4 films up now on here regarding 16-8.
And guys, a little bit like Nadia's menopause chat yesterday, I'm currently collating and going through all of your comments. It hasn't been forgotten on the community tab about mental health, bipolar, etc., etc. And I will be recording that very, very shortly once I've gone through them because I want to make sure that I go. Obviously, I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm going to go through and pick home in on some. What was the other thing I was going to say?
Wow, Claire, I can't even read out what you had.
What?
Anastasia Alexander, I've been on cloud 9 since my cancer screening came back negative.
Boom.
My year has been hell so far, physically and mentally, but I'm starting a new chapter. That is,
yeah.
wow. Everyone, let's give Anastasia a big hug, kiss emoji. That's amazing.
Anastasia, we're going to stroke.
That's lovely, lovely, lovely spark of joy news.
Yeah. If you get a stroke from my Mark's brush, it's not a euphemism, but if you get a stroke from my brush, it's special. Okay? It's a bit
Sarah
wet
Down says her anxiety has been terrible, but over the last 2 weeks, she's been making sure she goes to bed before 8 and then going on long walks during the day, and it's slowly getting better. Oh, that's brilliant.
The thing I want to...
Hi, Miriam.
James Flanagan. It's all coming in the vlog, don't you worry. But put it this way, very nice. The thing about sleep, which is crucially important to know, is sleep, when you look at the components of kind of anxiety or even depression, sleep, if it was like a pie chart, accounts for such a big part of it. You know, if you're struggling with sleep over a protracted period of time, everything feels uncontrollable. Everything feels uncontrollable. And, you know, it's the most sort of, it feels like the most boring part of any diagnosis or the most boring part of any sort of description or understanding of depression and anxiety, but it's a crucial part. So whatever you can do during the day or during the evening before you go to bed to relax, do it.
Helen Groves. Sorry you've been poorly, but lovely to have you back on the live.
Sarah Downs, good point. At the same time, the anxiety can keep you awake too. Chicken and egg, which comes first, Sarah Downs? But a good point, and I'm going to stroke the lens.
I have to have a meditation app on as I go to sleep, and then it stops all anxiety. Because I hear my own like whirring ears because I've got tinnitus. Then it triggers me that I'm worried I'm not going to sleep. Then I look for things to settle on to worry about, and that's what happens. If I don't have something on in the background, it's just hell. Yeah. And it took me quite a few goes to get into it, and you don't have to do the actual meditation. It's just having a soothing voice in the background. That's why I listen to John Campbell.
Yeah, well, but as Russ Souch says, try not to look at your phones last thing at night. This should help with good sleep. You need something other than your phone to play podcasts.
I do go straight to sleep, though. I don't have any trouble going to sleep.
Yeah, but I don't.
I'm tired.
I don't. I've just got John Campbell just wittering away.
You haven't shaved. You feel
Oh.
scratchy. Sorry. Lee Peart, I want to meditate more. Lee, can we tell them your news? Say whether we can tell them your news or not.
Teresa Hills. Hi, sorry, but I don't know how to access the content. I'm a new member. That's odd. If you go to the community tab, which is when you're on the home page of the channel, across the top, you'll have videos. Go to community, scroll down, and you'll see thumbnails of all the old shows. Or go to playlists and look up Sunday's show or Members Lives. Now, we're very well aware that a Members Live didn't go out last week. We know that. It was going to go out this weekend, just gone. But so there will be one this week.
You've got nice things coming from that weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So Lee's news, I want to share Lee's
Are we allowed
news.
to say he hasn't
He
come
just
through
said
yet?
yes, you can.
Oh, go for it.
So Lee, yesterday, got asked to do the warm-up for Strictly on this Saturday.
Oh, and Judy's there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
we
so
can't wait
cool.
to see Judy.
That's so cool, Lee.
Daytime drinking, Lee.
You're gonna wear glitter.
Oh my God, just a private joke between me and Lee. The other day, somebody that we work with came up to us. Lee and I were having lunch, and she came up and she was all like nervous because she had her wedding in a few weeks. Lee, this will make you laugh. And me being me, I do the classic. So she's saying she's nervous. We're saying, oh, well, it's okay, you know, and it'll be lovely. She doesn't really like people looking at her, da-da-da. And I said, well, you know, it'll be lovely. And then somebody said about somebody else that had got married after being together a long time. And I went, oh, God, yeah. Getting married after being together for a long time. Kiss of death.
Oh.
Divorce within a year.
You do lead with your mouth, don't you?
And the girl that we were talking to had known it. And then Lee, all right, said to her, how long have you been together? And she was together 15 years.
That's a classic you, that is. That's a classic. Lee,
Lee,
did you rescue it from the jaws of her foot being firmly in her mouth?
Oh my God, Lee, how bad was it? I hope I'm going to see you this weekend at some point.
Can I just ask, for how long were you guys married, if you're married, before you got married? We'd been together 3 hours. Is that right? About 3 hours or 10? Oh my God, what date is it today?
We didn't do any photos last night of Dina's birthday, I've just realised. Didn't get a single photo.
Well, not what? We were all busy having a good time.
No, but it's nice to have a photo of a
All
birthday.
right, it's not my fault.
You used to be so good at them.
Hey? What do you mean?
Oh, Claire's off to have a kip.
Oh, all right, have a nice one.
You just never take photos anymore.
Yes, that's so not true. Look,
No,
hang on.
you don't.
We
You
have
never get your camera out and take like all those
Finley.
nice shots.
Finley
you
doesn't
used
want to be
do.
photographed. Maddie doesn't want to be photographed. Kiki
No,
doesn't
but
want
when
to
you
be
get your big
photographed.
camera out, they will.
No, not really. You know, I was trying to be. I'm actually being. Oh God, I can't be asked to defend myself. Shall we get on with the news?
That's
'Cause
so
we're 12
nice. I've
minutes
been
in.
dying for you to get to the point where you can't be asked to defend yourself. Minion. So annoying when people defend
Do you know
themselves.
what? I've been lying the last 24 hours. I think you've been intolerable. Utterly intolerable. And I'm just saying it's fine just to get on. I've been with my partner for 34 years, engaged for 34 years.
Keep it that
JP
way.
Vintage
If you
Candles.
suddenly get married, it could all be over.
This is for you, JP Vintage. Okay, look. Let's have a quick look. So the big news story today, obviously we weren't here to talk about the tragic story of Sir David Ames, or Amos, as some people are saying online. But it's the abuse, it's the online abuse and endangerment of MPs is what they're talking about a lot in the press today. And they're talking about this David's Law. I was trying to look up where does David's Law come from? Do we know? Does anyone know? I couldn't. In America there's a Davis Law, and then it felt like it was a David's Law came from America. But anyway.
No, it's David's Law as in the chap, the MP that was.
Is it attached to him? Oh, that's why they're calling it. But you know, in America there is. But there's already a Davis Law in America.
Oh.
Which deals with bullying.
Oh right.
But so David's Law. The idea being that we remove the anonymity of social media accounts. What not to like?
Why can't they do it? So you have a social media account and you have it attached to your address or whatever, which of course is totally private. That doesn't go out there on your bio. But if you are found to be trolling or,
death threats,
all of this stuff, the police can trace you. Well, what is wrong with... I don't understand why we can't do that.
Well, Mel W says, and there was someone on the radio earlier today who was arguing against this, saying it's censorship. I personally think the argument of freedom of speech and censorship is a bust flush. I think if we have laws, specifically we have laws around, racial hatred, hate speech, stuff that's anti-Semitic, against the Holocaust deniers, etc. There are many circumstances in which you can clearly identify something. It doesn't take a genius to look at some trolling phrases and actions and threats to know that there's a difference between that and free speech. And I'll say it again. All the social media platforms hit you when you infringe a copyright within nanoseconds. Within nanoseconds. So it's got to be about more than putting in buzzwords and all this, because as we know, trolls work their way around that kind of wordage and they try to be more subtle. So I think making everyone have to give their passports numbers or their driving license numbers, every country can have different rules and regulations. You have to identify, and every social media platform should only allow people to set up one account. And if you're struck off, you're struck off. It's interesting that Twitter can do it for someone like Donald Trump, but they can't seem to do it on a sort of en masse. If they can pick up, and now the freedom of speech, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. We never had social media not that long ago.
Jen Legs.
We never had social media not that long ago. How has it suddenly become a human freedom of choice, freedom of speech, human right to be able to say whatever the fuck you want? But there's no freedom. It's no human right.
Sorry, I've just got a message from Reese. You two need to listen to Nick Abbott and Carol McGiffin's podcast. Oh, Nick Abbott from LBC.
Oh, do they do a
They do a podcast together. Because
Oh my
such
God.
differing political views.
I was going to say, well, maybe that's what makes it
What's
work.
it like? Is it funny, Reese?
Are they combative? Gina J, trolling is an issue that's going to get bigger. Why? Are people just so angry and unable to sort their own stuff out that they have to sort of spill it onto others? That's the. I mean, I recognise that it's an illness. I recognise all that kind of stuff. I recognise that it's a mental health condition. But it just seems such a shame that as a mental health condition goes, it has to impact other people rather than just the person involved who could then seek help. It's such a shame, isn't it, that the nature of it is reaching out. And I do think sometimes there is an ability amongst trolls to reach out for the idea that it is a mental health illness to justify their behaviour. Was that Acantha Rain Oak Moon? The issue I have with this idea, although I agree with it in theory, is that handing over those sort of personal details would lead to an uptake in identity theft.
Yeah, but instead, if you think about it, if you buy something online, are you on Amazon? Are you, have you got a Next account? Do you buy from Ocado or Sainsbury's? We give our address and our name and our date of birth out all the time, don't we? So I don't think it would be any more dangerous than it is now, would it?
They're worried that those who need to remain anonymous, e.g. female activists in Afghanistan, would then have their details abused and will be persecuted from it, and they won't tailor it to each country.
Very interesting.
Well, it is interesting.
I hadn't thought of that.
Well, then, but the answer is tailor it to each country.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they can do such sophisticated things now. You tailor it to the country.
That's true.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but the answer is in the problem, isn't it? I just don't understand. I don't understand how anything that is a commercial interest can be dealt with rapidly. And the sad fact of the matter, as they said today, a dear friend, another politician who's a dear friend of David Amos. Is it Amos or Ames? Amos. A dear friend of his was very impassioned on the radio today. And as he was saying, these... I've completely forgotten what I was saying. What was
I thought you had.
What was I saying?
I have no idea.
No, I can't remember at all. But he was incredibly impacted. Oh, no, he was talking about the mental health side of things. And he was saying the point that I've just made, which is, if you stop people saying stuff, then maybe it will force those people into some kind of mental health repair or kind of get treatment.
I mean, I do
because
think
as long
trolls
as you can do it on here, you
I
just
think
don't
trolls
get
have
into them.
huge mental health issues. I think that's... No person that's okay will attack and say some of the most dreadful... I'm talking about these people that say these dreadful things. You're not okay if you can do that, are you?
Well, no, but, you know, the problem is there's this idea that trolls just give death threats. They don't, and the danger with all of this is you home in on that extreme side of things rather than actually dealing with the really subtle people who I think were contributory factors in a lot of people in the public eye who've killed themselves, who've suffered all sorts of mental health problems because it's just nasty. It's just like deal with your own
Some
life.
trolls sort of dress themselves up as being really nice, but then say really horrible things.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
a bit worried about you.
Yeah, yeah,
because
it's always feigned
and you're just
concern.
like, oh, but we can sniff them out like a rat.
It's boring. But anyway, you know, so I think, you know, let's hope that something comes out of this tragedy that's really, you know, Nick Ferrari was talking about what was said about him when he hosted Question Time, and you just think,
God.
oh my God, there's a huge gulf of difference between someone expressing a strong opinion and someone relishing the idea of something awful happening to someone. Yeah, I think so.
Ellen, good luck accessing help for mental health if you've no money at the moment. Horrendous situation. I know, we're hearing this like every day. It's just so bloody tough out there, isn't it? Lee, I find it very odd over the motivation that some would have to put mean things online about people. I find it so odd. Why could you even be asked? Well, this is it. I think they're just sad people.
Yeah, very strange.
Shop
strange.
checkouts, what's that?
Shop checkouts.
Oh yeah, this is the Tesco story.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think of this, guys?
So Tesco's have got a store, I think, where is it? Is it in Ireland? No, High Holborn, where it has no manned checkout.
It's called Get Go, where you just
Get Go.
walk in, you've downloaded an app, like the Amazon stores that are doing this,
Yeah.
and you just pick up what you want and then it's charged to your app. Would you use it?
Now, on this note, I remember pitching an idea to Channel 5, the head of Channel 5, which was called The Checkout. And the idea was that it was a little bit like Gogglebox, but it was really just rigged cameras, rigged cameras and the conversations. Obviously, you would cast fascinating, brilliantly extravagant and extrovert checkout. But it was also a way, check out women and men, but it would also be a way to highlight a really, you know, these jobs that, you know, we just sort of, you know, they're almost like in the background, you just pass through them.
But it's like what we were talking about this morning. We were doing a podcast this morning about phones and the impact that they have on family. And we were talking about, Maddie was saying how, you know, it really helps with social awkwardness because you can go to your phone. Well, are we going to get to a point where we have no interaction with anyone that isn't like immediately in our circle?
Yeah.
And like you say, those conversations in the supermarket, on the bus, in the post office, on the bank, where the banks are going. All of that is, when all of that has gone, where you're brought up against people you don't know, what will we be as a society?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a huge convenience to being able to pass through the sort of swift self-checkout aisle, and we all use it, obviously. But do you ever do that thing? I just thought it was an opportunity to talk about checkout moments.
But there's lots of people that need that.
Like
we're
my
very
nan.
busy. We've got a lot going on. But what about all the people that's a big part of their, like your nan going to the supermarket was a massive thing, and chatting to the checkout girls and all of that.
Absolutely. And also, people of a certain age find all that tech where you have to swipe and all that quite difficult.
I don't fancy it.
Do you ever do that thing though when you're in a supermarket? Do you ever do that thing when you're in a supermarket and you see about 6 aisles and you start judging who you want to go past?
Yeah,
it's terrible, isn't it?
Absolutely, every single time I do that.
Yeah, and you're sort of looking for either, if you're in a quiet mood, you're looking for silence, and if you're in if I'm in quite an affable mood, I go.
You look for someone that's going to have a chat.
Go for her.
But I just wouldn't trust it because I'm not very good at checking stuff. I'd be really worried that I've just like been charged for a load of stuff that I walked past and that I didn't actually buy.
Yeah.
I mean, how do they do it? Because you don't scan it or anything, you just pick it up, don't you?
Oh, what, the smart shops? Yeah. Smart shops. I noticed there's no one in, all supermarkets have those smart aisles. I don't see anyone in them.
And what about those smart motorways with no hard shoulder? What's the point of those? We were on one the other day and it was just like, well, let's pray to God nobody breaks down because all of this smart motorway will be blocked up.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you do if you're on your own and you've got a puncture and you've got no hard shoulder?
It struck me as strange driving down the road. But the idea is
Why
that
are
it's
they called
supposed to send information, isn't it, to the local services, and they know to come and get you. But yeah, you've got. I'll tell you what we've got coming up in a minute. We've got picking noses, and we've got horns. But the next story, which you found, Mads, was schools warn of TV series Squid Game and copycat violence.
I was just thinking at school, all the things that were banned because of violence, and ours was knockers, those things that you went to think.
Oh, I see. But was
and
there
there was always things being banned, but not to the level now.
But have you ever watched something and reenacted something that you've said? Because we used to play Starsky and Hutch in the playground, and I always used to pretend that bit where you'd land on the bonnet of the car with great soggy.
Roll over.
Yeah, roll over it with soggy cardigans on. Do you remember? But so the story here is that some schools are being advised to make parents be vigilant.
Parents.
Because lots of kids are copying the games, and I suppose you can kind of see the
Some
problem
kids as young as 6 have been watching Squid Games. I mean, have anybody watched it? It's so violent.
But the thing is, it's a tricky one because the show is it's based on genuine children's games.
But Mark, if you think about it, what happens in Squid Game? They play these games and then they get shot dead, right?
Yes.
So what about Cowboys and Indians, where all the boys used to do was run around, boof, boof, boof. So they're playing a game and they're turning around and going, boof.
Yeah, but I think in some instances people are being tortured.
Oh.
And sort of strung up, and people, they're not really knowing the extent. And I think they're
But
particularly...
nobody's tortured in Squid Games.
I think you're a little bit later there.
Or
it becomes, what about the scenes where they all attack each other? We won't ruin it, but we don't want to do any spoilers.
It's very horrible.
But also, I mean, like Laura Nolan makes a good point. A bit like these, I think the TikTok challenges myself are more worrying because the behind them is an impetus to do them. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this kind of story, I really doubt this whole idea. I'm very anti-copycat and the idea that you watch something, like that, that you watch Joker and then you'll go out and do something. It might be that was the trigger, but there are so many other triggers. And what do? Do we ban everything in order to not trigger a lunatic?
They're not asked, to be fair, they're not saying to ban it. They're saying to parents, be really mindful about what age you're allowing to watch Squid Games, which I think is good advice.
And so, although it's
extremely upsetting.
Although as a series it has a 15 certificate.
It should not have a 15.
No, individual episodes have an 18 certificate within it. I don't know how that works.
It's so brutal.
What do you think, guys? Do you think what's the solution here? We haven't asked you a question yet. Should it be banned? Is it up to parents? Or should it just be left as it is? Tell us what you think. Sharon Fuller, age 18, I think. We used to play Kiss, Cuddle and Torture, Vicky.
Did you?
Kiss, Cuddle and Torture.
They
play that at a club in Vauxhall, actually. Cowboys and Indians brings back memories of my brothers. Gone are the days of skipping and hopscotch, says Ruth Blandford.
Yeah. Well, that could still come up in Squid Games. We haven't finished the series.
Shara Lou, I would like to try that cookie cutout thing, but not for anything sinister. I think we should try that.
I want to do it. I've got to make the honeycomb. I think it's actually going to be quite difficult to make honeycomb.
Look, quite a few people saying banned. Jenny saying Jen A, 68 parents. Amy May, change it to an 18 rating. Reem, Della, Sophie, banned. Banned Joanne Clements. Banned Hazel Malbon. Yeah, Bulldog was banned at mine. I'm over 18, but the brief clips on Gogglebox make me feel sick. Squid and Fortnite should be over 18, and Henderson. Minky Moo, too many children accessing stuff that's 18. I think there are virtually no firewalls now, are there?
There are no firewalls. Forget it. Like 18, it's just to give you advise you on it. But if you ban your kid from seeing something, they'll see it at school. They're all playing it. I mean, Maddie hasn't watched the series yet, but she knows what happens in every single episode because she said it just pops up constantly on Snapchat and all of these. So you can't protect your kids. Yeah. You just have to have a strong relationship with them, so you're talking about everything and trying to make sense of it.
Okay. Right, this chap here, there's a chap who's turned his lockdown hobby into a business. A man has turned his lockdown hobby of making Viking drinking horns into a business. Now, the reason I was drawn to this was Paul Jode from Horsham, West Sussex, look him up after this, crafts the traditional drinking vessels in his garden shed. So what you've got is a horn, and you drink it like that. If I was still drinking, I would ask for a drinking horn for Christmas.
Well, I wouldn't get you one.
Why not?
Because it's horrible.
It's not
Drinking
horrible.
From a horn.
You've
What
cleaned
about all the
it.
marrow inside it? Ooh.
I'm sure it's prepared.
Oh no.
Who would you like a drinking horn? Do you remember ear horns?
I wouldn't like a drinking horn or an ear
horn. Make sure you don't drink out of an ear horn. That would be really waxy. It takes him about 2 weeks to make each. 2 weeks to make each horn. It's not going to be a very successful business, is it? He needs to upscale that a bit. and he learns new techniques with each creation, which he described as quite an adventure. Apparently, his mum says he's constantly horny.
Mark.
Sorry. Nadia sent me this story. I was on the loo. I was prepping the live for you, which is where I always put the live up. So when you see it come up live on YouTube, just know that Mark's on the loo. There you go. But Nadia sent me this, and I don't know why.
Because I just thought you'd like it.
Well, no, the
Read
story...
the title.
Hang on. The story Nadia sent to me was, I absolutely love picking my nose and eating bogies, but will this make me ill? I have to confess, I think I've searched that very thing. So why did you send me it?
Because I just thought you'd like the title.
Oh, I see. No other reason.
No.
We've all watched toddlers' fingers creep towards their nose, but apparently it isn't necessarily good for you. You know, this idea that bacteria and eating it and all that kind of stuff.
Giving back your own bacteria.
But apparently so many really dark and twisted diseases reside up our nostrils, don't they?
Really?
Yeah, what was that awful... there's that flesh-eating
black
disease
rot thing.
Yeah, that sits in your nose, just
horrible.
not activating.
Do you remember that was rife at one point in India, wasn't it? It was just
Yeah.
absolutely horrific. Goes
Yeah.
into the eyes. No, but we don't have that here.
But here's the thing. I looked into this a little bit more whilst I was on the loo, and whilst I was having a good old rummage around my left nostril just to see what was up there. And while some say it's bad for you, others say it's quite good for you.
Oh.
People at the University of Saskatchewan in Canada said consuming mucus could be good for our immune systems.
Really?
There's a phrase for it as well, isn't there? Isn't it called mucology or something? Hang on, I think it's mucophagy. Mucophagy. Okay, here's a question. Does anyone here pick their nose and eat it?
No, but I did when I was a kid.
Nanny Di's here. Hi, Nanny Di. I'm going to tell a story, Nanny Di. See if
I
you
also
remember
once
this.
picked my ear and ate it, and it's disgusting. It tastes like Brussels sprouts.
Someone just said this is rank. Nadia brought this up. In fact, I'm not going to tell the story from when I was a kid. It's too disgusting.
No.
Say yes or no if you want my disgusting story as a child.
No, I don't. I'm leaving if you tell it.
This is a gross topic.
Exactly.
Anyway, well, there you go. So drinking horns, bogies. Bogies are innocent fun as a child. What was it? Flick it, lick it. What was the phrase?
Roll it, flick it. Right, that's it.
Pick it,
Listen,
lick it,
guys,
flick
it's
it.
been lovely spending time with you. Why are there only 114? Can you hit the like button underneath us?
It's disappointing
We
to say the
never
least.
like to go before we got 200. It's not good.
A little bit of a stroke there. There you go.
That's been quite annoying, that brush. Are we going to have that every day?
Christos Natasha Tiramos's husband Christos's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Christos. Happy birthday to you.
It's our 20-year snogging anniversary very soon. Did you know that? I will
Snog
snog
anniversary.
your
That's
face
quite
off.
good to do a snog anniversary.
Snog anniversary.
Yeah.
20 years. Jesus Christ. Okay, guys, you're never going to hear my nasty snot story, so there we go. Have a lovely day.